So if you're using Claude Code or Codex or basically any agentic coding harness, one of the things that you need to start installing are skills. And the reason skills are useful is because not only can you teach the agent how to do new things like reach to a third-party API or to run FFmpeg to encode a video, you can also use it as guardrails. So whenever you ask it to add in a new piece of functionality to your code base, it's going to run through and write all your tests. It's going to do a security audit. It's going to do a performance audit. But the only issue I have with skills is that a lot of the skills online that you find are probably generated by AI, and I don't know if they're actually reviewed or audited to see if they actually perform better, they help your system perform better, if they're basically just things that you're bloating up your context with. Now, I've been using a lot of skills from skills.sh, but I've also been working on my own agentsystem.dev site where I've taken all the skills I've been handcrafting over the past couple of months, and I've been reviewing them. I've been throwing them through AI to make sure that they pass certain quality checks. So definitely go join the waitlist at agentsystem.dev if you want access to all the skills I use in my day-to-day that I've been kind of handcrafting and tuning over the past couple of months. Now, like I mentioned, we don't know if skills actually do anything, right? A lot of people don't even A/B test their skills. Now, what do I mean by A/B testing? Basically, when you have a new skill, you want to try it against the baseline. So like, let's say you have Opus 4.7, try prompting it with something, and then you need to try prompting it again with your skill and see how well the skill performs based on a baseline. Now, if it's just a skill to do a tool call, like you don't really have to A/B test that much. But if it's a skill that does anything more powerful, like security reviews or code refactorings, then you should probably be testing that against the baseline. So I've been working on a tool for my own skills to basically run my agentsystem.dev skills against Claude Code with no skills, and then also Claude Code with a plan. Now, you could probably add in a bunch more things to kind of compare it against. And as you can tell, my skills are actually performing a little bit better than doing Claude Code with a plan mode with no skills at all, right? And I'm going to show you how this skill tester works. This is not open source yet, but if you do join my agentsystem.dev, I may release it in the future. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do a new run. I'm going to go open my mission control project, which is what I've been kind of coding with on my side projects over here, which, by the way, mission control is also something else I'm working on using my skills to build out actual applications. I have a ton of different side projects that I'm building out inside of mission control. So go check that out if you're interested. But I'm going to pick mission control and I'm going to give it a prompt. I want this to try to ship a feature which helps me track and visualize how many tokens are used in the Claude session per project and globally. Okay. Now this tool also lets me test with different effort levels. Obviously, if you give it an extra high, it's going to burn through a bunch more tokens. It's going to take longer, but it's going to be a little bit more accurate. I'm going to try it on low for this demo because I'm already reaching like 25% of my 5-hour limit. So I don't want to kind of hit the limit during this demo. But the other benchmark I showed you, that was on high, I believe. So I'm going to go ahead and just install my skills. I'll say agent system init. And this will, when I run it, it's going to create 3 different Claude Code sessions. On the far left, we have the Claude Code session that does not have any skills installed. And then in the middle, we have a Claude Code session, which is going to try to do a plan mode against that prompt. And it's going to ask me questions and stuff. And then we also have my agent system.dev skills, which again is going to ask questions, but it has a bunch of other stuff in place to verify that the code is of highest quality possible. And as you can see, my agent system.dev skills are calling into a skill that basically orchestrates all this additional stuff. Okay, so the plan mode is already asking a couple things, like how does it actually want to read to see where the usage comes from Claude Code. I'm just going to go ahead and do the recommendation for all these. I found with plan mode that usually the first thing is probably the thing you should be picking because it's usually the one that they recommend. So let's just do all those, and especially if you're vibe code, you're not really sure what you want. So let's just do submit for all those, and then also where should these token usage live? I'll say in usage, that's fine. What granularity do you want to see? I'll say the total input output in cache. I'll say per session. I think time series would be good as well. It's asking how does it actually get the usage of these sessions. It says recommended, so I'm gonna go pick the recommended here. Asking the scope of the session, so I'm gonna say only the sessions launched from mission control, which is probably a good idea. And then we'll go ahead and just kick those off as well. Now I will say it's kicking all these off into separate work trees. So it has a clean, isolated checkout of my repo, and it's going to try to add in this feature into those 3 separately. So there's not really going to be cross-contamination of like these things running. But at the very end of this, when this is done, we can click compare. And it's going to tell us which one, using AI, it's going to analyze the git diff and try to figure out which ones kind of perform the best. And then we can get that nice bar graph at the top to see which skill ranked kind of the highest. Now, one thing I'll point out is that the low effort on the no skills and the no plan is already done. It finished in 4 minutes, and this is pretty early to finish a large, complicated feature addition. So I think this is probably going to have a lot of things that it missed. And again, this is the point of the effort level. When you have a higher effort level, the LLM is going to spend more time thinking and planning out what it needs to do. But I just wanted to kind of show that vibe coding can get you so far, but it's not going to fully get what you need to implement it. You're gonna have to come back and do multiple pass-throughs. I've done this all the times on many side projects where I'll just prompt off a feature and realize that it was more complex than I thought it was gonna be. And so I have to keep on coming back and refining it. Now, sometimes just kicking off a prompt will work very well, especially for a smaller feature. In low effort mode, I've seen, this is primarily what I use now, low effort mode, and I bump it up to high or extra high if I really need it. But I found just having a plan and using something like agentsystem.dev skills allows you to get very far on low effort. You're going to save tokens, it's going to run faster, and then you can come back and just do a little bit of cleanup again with some additional prompts if you need to. All right, so the no skills with the plan mode with Claude Code Opus 4.7 low effort finished in 8 minutes and 9 seconds, so almost twice as much time as the no skills run with no plan. And this should be obvious. A plan mode is going to have a larger set of tasks that it's going to give the LLM, and it's going to spend a much more time actually going through and being more delicate at getting everything fully solved. But as you can see, my agent dev skills are still running. It's at 10 minutes now. I think it's going through like testing right now. So it's verifying everything has been fully covered with tests, which is very important if you're building out a production system, which is one of the key ingredients for having a good set of guardrails on your skills. All right, so my skills are finally done, 11 minutes and 32 seconds. So now the key thing I want to do here is also check out cost. So if you go to usage, I think it's usage. This will tell us how much money this session actually used and how many tokens it used. So let's go back to usage. The low effort, no skills took $1.82. The one with the plan mode took $6.08, and mine took $5.79. So mine ran longer. It used less tokens. It used less money. But the important thing is which skill is actually going to produce the highest quality output, because knowing how the code works under the hood is important still, and you need to make sure that it is high quality code, or else these agents do have trouble adding in and fixing and changing code along the line. So let's just go ahead and click the compare button now, and this is going to do a git diff and pass that into another agent to kind of do a review and pick which one did the best in terms of the prompt that we gave it. All right, so this is going to kick off an extra high Claude judge to basically analyze the git diffs of these three, and it's going to see which one actually seems like it did the best in terms of the code quality in addressing the issue, like I mentioned. All right, so the judge agent is finally done. You can see here it gave the no skills a 7 out of 10. It gave the no skills with the plan an 8 out of 10, and the agent skills a 9 out of 10. And of course, when this is done, you get a verdict from the AI to kind of explain which approach did better and how it kind of ranked it. So I'm going to go down to the scorecard. It says skills got a 9 for functional, architecture 9, robustness an 8, UX and Viz an 8, S a 6, maintainability a 10. Okay, for a final score of 78. No skills plan. It's kind of on par. It's just like 1 point down for all these. Robustness is a 7 versus my 8. UX Viz is 9 out of 10. So I would be curious to figure out what it did better in terms of UX and vision. It has no tests. This one also has no tests. And then maintainability is a little bit higher as well for some reason. But overall, the higher score is for the skills. And AI gives you a bunch of different overviews of like the difference. I'm going to go to recommendations. Ship skills as the base. It's the only variant with persistence done correctly, per message dedupe, increment offsets, transitional rights, and the only one with tests, even imperfect ones, before merging. But I do want to scroll up because I don't want to just give you a biased opinion. Plan mode impact. Plan mode no skills produce the most cohesive product design. Reuse components, KPI cards, session tables, bar chart between the new stats page and the existing project's ID page. Wired the new features into the existing event hooks in plumbing, and then added a global tops project. So at this point, what I typically do is I'll take this whole output, this whole summary that compared all these, and then I will use it to reiterate on my skills to make it a little bit better for the next iteration. And I've been doing this a variety of times on different skills that I have in my agentsystem.dev skill pack. So hopefully whenever I release this thing will actually be really fine-tuned and honed in. And if not, if I can't get this thing to be better than Claude Code's plan mode consistently, then I'm not going to release this. Honestly, it's just what's the point, right? That's kind of what I'm working on. I wanted to make a video to kind of share with you all the ABC, in this case, approach to testing out skills and why you should probably be verifying your skills and see if they actually do what you think they do. Because if not, like, what's the point of adding these into your project and increasing the complexity of these agentic systems? All right, that's about it. Have a good day. Happy coding.